Is our nation on the verge of another public health nightmare, or are we being conditioned to live in a perpetual state of fear? The images that emerged this Sunday from a hantavirus-stricken cruise ship were impossible to ignore. Passengers clad in full personal protective equipment escorted off the vessel while health officials scrambled to contain the situation. For many Americans, these visuals served as a visceral, unwanted flashback to the early days of 2020, sparking an immediate firestorm of speculation on social media. Before we continue, if you want to stay on top of everything happening in U.S. politics and the stories that shape our national security, hit that subscribe button right now and leave a like. It really helps this channel grow and ensures you get the truth behind the headlines. So, what exactly is happening here? The cruise ship in question became a focal point of panic after a confirmed hantavirus scare, triggering a massive logistical response that reminded many of the dark days of pandemic-era lockdowns. Hantavirus is a serious, often fatal, respiratory disease, but health officials have been quick to go on the record, stating unequivocally that this is not the start of another global pandemic. According to the CDC and local health authorities, hantavirus is primarily transmitted through contact with rodent droppings or urine, not human-to-human transmission like the viruses that caused our most recent economic and social upheaval. But here is where the story gets complicated. When we talk about public health in the current political climate, the conversation is rarely just about biology, it is about trust. The optics of hazmat suits are powerful, perhaps too powerful. The government is betting that if they provide enough scientific reassurance, the public will move on. However, we have to analyze the context of where we are as a nation. After years of shifting mandates, confusing communication from federal agencies, and a fundamental breakdown in the relationship between the government and the American public, skepticism has become the default position for millions of citizens. When health officials tell us this isn't the next pandemic, they are asking us to rely on the same institutional voices that many voters believe have failed them in the past. If this isn't a wider threat, why was the response so visible and so intense? Why does it feel like every time we turn on the news, there is a new health crisis waiting to be managed by an administration that is already struggling to maintain a coherent narrative? The outcome here is twofold. On the medical side, we have a localized issue that requires standard containment, and the risk to the general public remains statistically negligible. But on the political side, the damage is already done. This incident feeds directly into the ongoing debate regarding executive power, state-level health authority, and the extent to which our daily lives should be interrupted by government-led panic. We are seeing a clash between scientific reality and public perception, and in the world of U.S. politics, perception is often what dictates policy. If the authorities lose control of the narrative now, they risk fueling a fire of distrust that will make it nearly impossible to manage legitimate crises in the future. The question isn't just whether hantavirus is a threat, the question is whether the American people have the capacity left to trust the official version of reality. We've been told to wait, to comply, and to trust the experts, yet the goalposts have moved so many times that many of you are rightfully asking, what else are they not telling us? So, what do you think about this? Do you believe the official explanation that there is nothing to worry about, or do you think this is a sign of deeper, systemic incompetence within our health agencies? Drop your opinion in the comments below. I read every single one, and I want to hear your take on whether we should be concerned or if this is just another distraction from the real issues in Washington. The bottom line is that transparency is the only remedy for fear. Until the government proves that it can communicate with honesty rather than condescension, these scares will continue to divide us. Stay vigilant, keep asking the hard questions, and never take the mainstream narrative at face value. I'll be here tracking every update, so make sure your notifications are turned on. We'll see you in the next one.